My friends, prayer is more than whispered words. Prayer is the alignment of your mind, your spirit, and your actions with the infinite source of abundance. When you learn to pray with clarity, with faith, and with unwavering focus, wealth will not be something you chase. It will be something you attract. Let me give you 12 powerful points to guide your prayer so that prosperity comes into your life with certainty. When you approach prayer, you must do so with a clear and definite purpose. Too often, people send vague wishes into the air, hoping something good will happen, yet they never define exactly what it is they seek. The mind works like a compass. If you give it no direction, it spins endlessly without guiding you anywhere. Wealth, opportunity, and abundance respond to precision. If you want prosperity, you must describe it in detail, see it in your imagination, and name it in your request. When you pray, say exactly what you seek as though you are giving an order to the universe itself. Clarity is power. Imagine walking into a store and asking for something nice. You may leave empty-handed because the request carried no instruction. Now imagine walking in and asking for a specific item, brand, and size. The storekeeper can give it to you immediately. Prayer works in the same manner. A vague desire for success leaves your mind unsure of what steps to take. But when you declare, I seek a business that earns me a certain income, serving people in a certain way, your mind and spirit begin aligning toward the right opportunities. A definite purpose plants seeds in the subconscious mind, and the subconscious works tirelessly day and night to bring about what is impressed upon it. The more precise you are, the faster your subconscious filters through the noise of life and finds the exact conditions you asked for. It begins to see connections, possibilities, and doors that were invisible to you before. This is why many who wander without aim remain poor, not because they lack ability, but because they lack direction. When your prayer is definite, it also fuels your persistence. A clear goal burns brighter in your imagination, keeping you motivated through trials and delays. If you only ask for better days, you may quit at the first sign of difficulty because the vision was weak. But if you declare a concrete purpose, you hold a picture in your mind that pulls you forward no matter the obstacle. The stronger the image, the more it commands your spirit to continue until you reach it. So, when you kneel in prayer, remove hesitation and uncertainty, speak to the universe with boldness as one who knows what they deserve. Do not whisper in doubt, but declare in faith, this is what I choose, this is what I will have, and I am ready to act upon it. Such prayer is not a plea, but a partnership with the infinite source of abundance. When you pray with definite purpose, you give wealth a destination, and it begins its journey toward you. Gratitude is the most powerful declaration of faith you can make. When you give thanks before the results arrive, you are showing that you already believe in the unseen, that you trust the process, and that you know abundance is on its way. Most people wait until something good happens to express gratitude, but that is not true faith. That is only reaction. True faith is giving thanks before the evidence shows up, because in your heart you already know the answer is settled. This kind of gratitude sends out a vibration of confidence, and confidence is irresistible to wealth. Think about how the mind shifts when it is grateful. A grateful mind cannot hold on to doubt, fear, or scarcity at the same time. Gratitude forces the heart to expand, and in that expansion, you become a receiver of new possibilities. When you wake up and thank the universe for prosperity, even before the money has reached your account, you are telling your subconscious that abundance is already yours. The subconscious then begins to align your behavior and decisions with that belief, moving you closer each day to the opportunities that create wealth. When gratitude is present, you start to notice doors that others overlook. An ungrateful person may walk past opportunity because their mind is clouded with worry and complaints. But a thankful spirit sees a chance in every meeting, every challenge, and every setback. Gratitude sharpens your perception and keeps you in harmony with the flow of life. In this way, it is not only a spiritual act, but also a practical one. A grateful person is more resilient, more creative, and more open to solutions, and that alone attracts success faster. Gratitude also removes desperation. When you give thanks in advance, you signal that you are not begging, but claiming what is already on its way. Desperation pushes abundance away, but expectation wrapped in gratitude pulls it closer. Just as a farmer thanks the soil for a harvest before he plants, you must thank the universe for wealth before it appears. The farmer does not doubt the process of growth, he knows the seed will sprout. In the same way, you must know your prayer is already answered the moment you express it with gratitude. So each day, practice the habit of thanking in advance. When you pray, say with conviction, I am grateful for the wealth flowing into my life. I am grateful for the opportunities coming my way. I am grateful for the prosperity that is already mine. Let this spirit of gratitude live in your heart, not as empty words, but as a living truth. When you pray with gratitude before the results arrive, you unlock a power that cannot be denied, and wealth begins to flow toward you like a river returning to its source. When you pray, you must hold a vision so clear that it feels more real than the world around you. The mind cannot create what it does not first imagine, and wealth cannot take shape in your hands until it first exists vividly in your thoughts. This is why the greatest achievers always saw themselves successful long before the world recognized them. They lived in their vision as though it was already the present, and by doing so, they trained their subconscious to accept no reality other than the one they desired. Clarity of vision is like drawing a blueprint before building a house. Without the drawing, no builder knows where to begin, and the materials are wasted. In the same way, if your prayer lacks a clear picture, your energy is scattered and your actions are uncertain. But when your prayer is filled with images so sharp that you can describe every detail, the home you live in, the business you run, the lifestyle you enjoy, your mind becomes a faithful builder, following the blueprint until the structure of your desire stands tall in reality. This vision must not only be seen, but felt with all the senses. Close your eyes and walk through the life you desire. Hear the sounds of success, feel the texture of abundance, smell the fragrance of freedom, taste the sweetness of prosperity. The more real the vision feels in your imagination, the more your mind accepts it as truth. And once the subconscious accepts something as truth, it begins commanding your daily actions, choices, and even your chance encounters to match that inner image. A clear vision also protects you against distraction. In a world filled with noise, temptations, and other people's opinions, it is easy to be pulled away from your path. But when your prayer holds a crystal, clear picture of the life you are creating, no setback or criticism can sway you. You return again and again to the image, and it becomes your anchor. Wealth does not come to the wavering mind, it comes to the mind that sees only one outcome and walks toward it with steady faith. The power of this vision is that it creates emotion. And emotion is what gives prayer life. A lifeless request carries no weight, but a prayer charged with the excitement of a vivid vision stirs the universe itself. When you see yourself already living the life you desire, your spirit lifts, your heart believes, and your words gain authority. That authority communicates certainty, and certainty is what attracts abundance like iron to a magnet. So when you pray, do not ask with empty words. Create a world within your imagination so strong that you are already living in it. Let your prayer be a rehearsal of the wealth you are about to hold. Wealth always begins as a vision, as a picture painted boldly in the mind. And when you see it clearly enough, feel it deeply enough, and believe it unshakably enough, the day will come when that picture steps out of your imagination and stands before you in reality. Persistence in prayer is the proof of genuine desire. A single whispered request may be little more than a fleeting wish, but when you return again and again with burning faith, you show the universe that you will not be denied. Repetition imprints the vision upon the subconscious mind, and once impressed deeply enough, the subconscious begins to operate as though the outcome is inevitable. It drives your thoughts, your choices, and your actions toward the fulfillment of that desire until it becomes reality. Most people fail because they quit too soon. They pray once, perhaps twice, and when nothing changes immediately, they abandon their request and declare it does not work. But prayer, like planting a seed, requires patience and persistence. The farmer does not dig up his seed each day to check if it has grown. He waters it consistently and trusts the process. Your persistent prayer is the water that nourishes the seed of wealth in your mind, and in due season it must sprout. Persistence transforms prayer into conviction. At first, the mind may resist, whispering doubts and fears, but each repetition of your request pushes doubt further away and builds certainty in its place. Over time, your prayer evolves from hopeful words into a declaration of truth. It is no longer, "I wish this would happen," but "this must and will happen." When your prayer reaches that level of certainty, it carries a force that no obstacle can withstand. There is also great discipline forged through persistence. To pray continually with faith requires self-control, focus, and endurance. These qualities are the very same traits required to create wealth. Persistence in prayer trains the mind to stay steady under pressure, to believe when evidence is scarce, and to continue when the path is rough. The man or woman who persists in prayer develops the inner strength to persist in action, and wealth always favors the persistent. When obstacles rise, persistence keeps you standing. Every great pursuit of wealth will meet resistance, delays, failures, rejections, but the persistent prayer keeps your spirit alive when circumstances try to defeat you. It reminds you that setbacks are temporary and that the outcome is already promised if you refuse to quit. Persistence turns disappointment into fuel, transforming every challenge into proof that you are moving closer to your breakthrough. So pray not as a timid beggar, but as a determined creator. Return to your request day after day, not with desperation, but with unshakable faith. Let persistence be the rhythm of your spirit, hammering truth into the foundation of your mind until it is unbreakable. The world bends to the will of the one who persists, and wealth flows to those who pray, believe, and act without ever surrendering. Praying only for money is like asking for water without a cup to hold it. Many people gain wealth for a short while, only to see it slip through their hands because they lacked the wisdom to manage it. Money without wisdom often becomes a curse instead of a blessing, leading to waste, conflict, or destruction. But when you pray for wisdom along with wealth, you are asking not just for the fruit, but for the knowledge of how to plant, protect, and multiply the tree that produces it. Wisdom is what teaches you the difference between spending and investing. It shows you how to preserve your resources, how to make decisions that benefit your future, and how to avoid the traps that snare those who chase riches blindly. A fool with a fortune will soon return to poverty, but a wise person with even a small amount can turn it into lasting abundance. Therefore, let your prayer be not just for riches, but for the understanding to use those riches in a way that builds freedom and security. When you pray for wisdom, you also protect yourself from greed and arrogance. Wealth can easily blind the heart if it is not balanced with humility and insight. Wisdom keeps you grounded, reminding you that money is a tool, not a master. It teaches you to see wealth as a servant to your vision, a resource to fulfill your purpose, and a means to bless others rather than a weapon for selfish gain. Without wisdom, money leads to ruin. With wisdom, it becomes a channel for good. Wisdom also multiplies what you have. When you understand how money works, how to save it, how to grow it, how to let it work for you, you no longer rely only on effort, but on systems that expand your wealth even while you sleep. This is why some people seem to prosper endlessly while others remain stuck. One operates with wisdom, the other with impulse. Wisdom is the true foundation of lasting prosperity, and without it, even the largest fortune will eventually crumble. So when you pray, do not limit yourself to asking for wealth alone. Ask for the insight to manage it, the discipline to protect it, and the vision to use it for something greater than yourself. With wisdom, your wealth will not only stay but grow. touching lives beyond your own and ensuring that what you build today endures for generations to come. Wealth without wisdom vanishes, but wealth with wisdom multiplies until it becomes a legacy. Belief is the lifeblood of prayer. When you pray, you must do so with the conviction that what you ask for already belongs to you. If you approach prayer with hesitation, uncertainty, or fear, you are planting weak seeds that cannot take root. The universe does not respond to doubt, for doubt is the language of poverty. It signals that you are unsure whether abundance is possible for you, and that uncertainty blocks the very flow you are trying to create. Faith, on the other hand, is the language of abundance. It declares boldly, "What I seek is already mine," and that declaration calls forth the circumstances to make it so. When you pray with true belief, your words carry a different weight. They are not soft whispers of hope, but firm commands spoken from authority. The mind, when convinced, begins to act as though the request has already been fulfilled. You start walking differently, talking differently, making choices that align with your desired outcome. Others can sense that confidence, and opportunities are drawn to you like metal to a magnet. Belief turns your prayer into power, and that power creates results. Doubt, however, is like a shadow that cancels progress. It makes you second, guess your steps, and abandon your path before results appear. A person filled with doubt sabotages their own success, refusing to act fully because they secretly expect to fail. In contrast, the believer acts boldly, even when evidence is scarce, because they already know the end of the story. Faith allows you to step onto the bridge before you can see the other side, trusting that it will hold you. And in that trust, the bridge appears. To pray with belief is to shift your state of mind from waiting to receiving. You do not say, "One day I will have wealth," but rather, "Wealth is already mine, and it is moving toward me now." This change in language transforms your vibration. Instead of longing, you radiate ownership. Instead of waiting, you live as if it has already happened. The subconscious mind accepts that reality and begins shaping your world to match it, opening doors, creating connections, and inspiring actions that align with abundance. Belief also keeps you steady when obstacles arise. Every path to wealth contains challenges, but faith gives you the resilience to push through. The doubter sees difficulty as a sign to quit, but the believer interprets it as proof that their breakthrough is near. This mindset is everything, for the world will always test your conviction. The moment you choose faith over doubt, you declare that no setback can reverse what has already been written in your heart. So when you pray, speak the language of abundance. Declare what you seek as already yours and refuse to let doubt steal your words. Hold the picture of your desire with unwavering certainty and let your actions reflect that conviction. Faith is wealth in its invisible form, and when nurtured, it becomes wealth in its physical form. Believe fully, pray boldly, and you will watch the invisible world bend itself to deliver the life you have claimed. Prayer is not meant to replace action, it is meant to fuel it. Too many people fall into the trap of thinking that if they pray hard enough, their desires will simply appear without any movement on their part. But the truth is, a prayer without action is nothing more than an empty wish. When you ask for abundance, you must also ask for the strength, courage, and energy to act boldly in the direction of that abundance. It is not enough to speak words. You must be ready to rise from your knees and walk where those words point you. Strength to act is what separates dreamers from doers. Every person can imagine success, but only those who take steps toward it ever see it realized. The world does not reward intentions alone, it rewards applied effort. Prayer connects you to vision, but action transforms that vision into form. Asking for strength is asking for the discipline to keep moving when distractions, fear, or fatigue try to pull you off course. Wealth does not come to the passive, it comes to the persistent who combine faith with labor. When you pray for strength, you are acknowledging that challenges will appear, and you are preparing yourself to meet them with courage. The universe always tests whether you are serious about what you claim to desire. It will send obstacles, delays, and difficulties to see if you are willing to keep going. Without inner strength, these tests break you. With strength, they shape you. Action backed by strength turns resistance into progress, and every struggle becomes proof of your determination. Strength to act also brings clarity. Often, people wait for the perfect time to begin, but perfection never arrives. The act of moving forward, even imperfectly, creates momentum, and momentum reveals the next step. A strong spirit does not wait for conditions to be ideal. It moves with what it has and trusts that more will be provided along the way. Each action, no matter how small, sends a signal to the universe that you are serious, and the universe responds by opening doors you could not see before. Another gift of strength is consistency. Great achievements are rarely born from a single action. They are built from small steps repeated over time. Prayer gives you the vision of where to go, but strength allows you to keep showing up day after day until the vision becomes reality. Consistency is what compounds effort into wealth, just as drops of water eventually carve stone. Without strength, consistency falters. With strength, it becomes unshakable. So let your prayer always include a request for power to act. Say, give me not just the desire for wealth, but the strength to earn it, the courage to pursue it, and the will to hold it. Rise from your prayer with determination, and let your steps prove the faith in your words. For wealth flows not to those who merely ask, but to those who ask, believe, and then move relentlessly in the direction of their dreams. When you pray, you must carry a heart that is free from bitterness and resentment. A spirit weighed down with anger cannot rise high enough to receive blessings. Many people unknowingly block their own prosperity by clinging to grudges, replaying old wounds, and refusing to release those who have wronged them. This heavy burden keeps the mind in chains and leaves no room for abundance to enter. Forgiveness is not about excusing the harm done, it is about freeing yourself so that you can move forward unshackled. Forgiveness is a cleansing process. Just as you cannot fill a cup that is already full of poison, you cannot fill a heart with prosperity if it is filled with hatred or pain. When you forgive, you pour out the poison and make space for something greater to flow in. Prayer becomes more powerful when it comes from a place of peace, and peace only comes when you let go of resentment. Forgiveness does not erase the past, but it reclaims your future by breaking the hold that bitterness has over you. Carrying resentment drains energy. It steals focus and keeps the mind occupied with memories that serve no purpose in creating wealth. A person who is always looking backward cannot move forward with clarity. But when you forgive, you release the weight that slows you down, and you find yourself with renewed energy to pursue your vision. The strength that was once wasted on anger is now available for creativity, persistence, and opportunity. Forgiveness restores power to your life. Forgiveness also opens the door to harmony with others, and wealth often comes through relationships. No one prospers alone. Opportunities, partnerships, and networks are bridges to success. But if your spirit is closed off by bitterness, you repel the very connections that could help you. A forgiving heart attracts people, builds trust, and invites collaboration. The ability to forgive does not make you weak, it makes you magnetic, and that magnetism draws abundance through human connection. There is also a spiritual law at work in forgiveness. When you release others, you are also releasing yourself. Holding someone else in the prison of your anger only ensures that you remain locked in the same prison. By forgiving, you open the cell door, and both of you are free. In that freedom, prosperity flows more easily because your spirit is no longer chained to the past. The energy of forgiveness is one of the highest vibrations, and abundance is always drawn to higher states of being. So when you pray, ask not only for wealth, but for the strength to forgive. Say within yourself, I release all who have wronged me, I let go of the past, and I welcome peace into my heart. With every act of forgiveness, you are clearing the soil of your spirit so that the seeds of prosperity can grow without obstruction. Forgive fully, forgive often, and you will find that as your heart becomes lighter, the blessings of abundance come more swiftly into your life. When you pray, you must not think only of what wealth can bring into your own life, but of how it can flow through you to touch others. The greatest prosperity is never self-contained. It expands outward, lifting people, communities, and even generations. A prayer that carries the spirit of service is far more powerful than a prayer of selfish gain because it aligns you with the law of giving and receiving. The universe favors those who multiply good, for wealth without contribution is empty and fleeting. When you shift your focus from what you can take to what you can give, your entire energy changes. You begin to see money not as the end goal, but as a tool for impact. This mindset opens the door to larger opportunities because life entrusts more to those who will use it wisely and generously. People who serve with their wealth naturally attract trust, loyalty, and respect, which in turn creates even greater prosperity. In serving others, you create a circle where abundance continues to return to you multiplied. Praying with service in mind also expands your vision beyond the limits of personal comfort. When you think only of yourself, your goals are small, but when you think of how your success can provide jobs, education, healing, or inspiration, your vision grows to a grander scale. This grander vision calls for greater resources, and as a result, the universe supplies more. The size of your wealth will always match the size of your purpose, and a purpose that includes serving others will always demand more abundance. Service-driven wealth is also protected wealth. Money that exists only to satisfy selfish desire can vanish quickly, leaving nothing of value behind, but money that is used to build, uplift, and empower leaves behind legacies that cannot be erased. When you dedicate your wealth to service, you root it in meaning, and that meaning keeps it alive long after individual fortunes come and go. The more you tie your prosperity to helping others, the stronger and more enduring it becomes. It is also through service that you find true fulfillment. Many have gained riches only to discover they feel empty inside, because wealth without purpose cannot satisfy the spirit. When your wealth is connected to service, every dollar carries meaning, every achievement carries significance, and every success brings joy not just to you, but to those you touch. This fulfillment becomes a deeper form of wealth that no amount of money alone could provide. So when you pray, let your words carry the spirit of service. Say, may my wealth not only enrich my life, but also uplift others. May I be a channel of abundance through which good flows to the world. When you pray this way, you are not only asking for prosperity, you are aligning yourself with the highest law of abundance, that what you give returns to you multiplied. Pray with service in mind, and you will never lack, for the universe always rewards those who expand its goodness. The morning is the most sacred time of day, a moment when the world has not yet placed its demands upon you, and your mind is still untouched by noise. To pray in silence each morning is to claim that sacred moment and direct it toward your highest purpose. In that quiet space, you plant the seeds of wealth and abundance into soil that is fresh and fertile. Before distractions creep in, before doubts from the world try to steal your focus, you align yourself with the vision of prosperity you desire. Silence in the morning has a power unlike any other. It allows your thoughts to settle and your spirit to listen. When the mind is calm, ideas flow freely, insights arrive clearly, and direction reveals itself. Many people rush into their day without this grounding, and as a result, they are tossed by circumstances and the opinions of others. But those who begin their day in silent prayer anchor themselves to something deeper, something unshakable. They carry that stillness into the noise of the day, and it becomes their advantage. Praying in silence each morning also conditions the subconscious mind. The early hours are when the subconscious is most receptive, and whatever you feed it during that time takes root quickly. If you fill your morning with doubt, worry, or distractions, those seeds will grow throughout the day. But if you fill it with silent prayer, gratitude, and vision, your subconscious spends the entire day working to align reality with those truths. This is how you program yourself for prosperity before the world even awakens. There is discipline in starting each morning this way, and discipline itself is a form of wealth. To rise and meet the day with intention rather than reaction sets you apart from the masses. While others stumble into their mornings with confusion, you step forward with clarity and direction. Each silent prayer becomes a compass that keeps you pointed toward abundance, no matter how chaotic the hours that follow may become. This is the quiet preparation that leads to loud success. Silence also teaches you to hear more than just your own words. In the stillness, you become aware of guidance, intuition, and inspiration that cannot be heard in the noise. Answers often come not in thunder but in whispers, and those whispers are only caught when the mind is calm. Many breakthroughs in business, invention, and creativity have come in quiet moments, and your silent prayer each morning places you in the perfect state to receive such insight. So when you rise each day, seek silence before anything else. Do not reach first for your phone, your tasks, or your worries. Instead, sit with yourself and with the infinite, and pray quietly for the wealth, strength, and wisdom to fulfill your vision. Let the silence sharpen your focus and strengthen your faith. In that morning stillness, you are not merely starting a day, you are shaping your destiny, planting the seeds of prosperity that will grow stronger with every sunrise. Expectation is the spirit of authority, while desperation is the cry of weakness. When you pray with expectation, you stand as one who knows the laws of the universe are working in your favor. You speak as if the outcome is already assured, and that assurance carries power. Desperation, on the other hand, reveals doubt. It begs, it pleads, and in doing so, it confesses that it does not truly believe the request will be granted. The universe does not respond to begging, it responds to certainty. Think of how a child approaches a loving parent. A child who expects to be cared for does not beg for food with fear that it won't come. They sit at the table with confidence that nourishment is on its way. In the same way, you must approach prayer with the calm confidence that what you need and desire is already moving toward you. Desperation creates delay, but expectation accelerates arrival because your energy aligns with the reality you claim to be true. Expectation also shapes your behavior. When you believe wealth is certain, you act with boldness and clarity, you take risks, you step forward, and you prepare yourself to receive. But when you pray in desperation, you hesitate second, guess, and act timidly as though you are unworthy of what you desire. This timid energy repels opportunity, while the confident spirit of expectation attracts it. The way you carry yourself in faith often determines the results you see in reality. There is a great difference between wanting and knowing. Wanting is weak. It is a statement that says, I hope one day it might be mine. Knowing is powerful. It declares, it is already mine, and I am aligning myself to receive it. When you pray with expectation, you are praying from the place of knowing. That conviction impresses your subconscious mind so deeply that it begins working tirelessly to bring your life into harmony with that belief. Expectation also guards your spirit against fear. Desperation feeds fear because it constantly worries, what if it never comes? Expectation silences fear by saying, it is only a matter of time. This shift in mindset changes how you endure challenges. With desperation, a setback feels like the end. With expectation, a setback feels like a temporary delay on a path that is already guaranteed. Your faith holds steady because you trust the process, and wealth flows more easily to those who remain unshaken. So when you pray, speak as though you are issuing a command, not pleading for mercy. Expect the doors to open, expect the opportunities to come, expect the wealth to arrive. Do not lower yourself into desperation, for it weakens your spirit. Lift yourself into expectation, for it carries the authority of one who knows they deserve abundance. Wealth comes not to the desperate heart, but to the expectant one, the heart that already believes it has received. My friends, prayer is not a ritual of words. It is a ritual of thought, of belief, and of action. When you pray like this, wealth will come, not as a miracle from nowhere, but as the natural harvest of seeds you planted with your faith and your discipline. Pray like this, and watch the doors of abundance swing open for you.